One moment, everybody. We're doing this impromptu live. I'm going to try to just share this real quick. Going to be drafting a $250 big dog draft. Let me just get this socialized, and then I will break you guys all down. And show you the stream. To get some Bijan in our life. So, sorry guys, it's usually more organized. Didn't have a thumbnail. Don't have a YouTube description. Trying to tell my Discord about this. I think we shared that all. Okay, so this is a $250 high stakes Underdog Fantasy best ball draft. This is their $250 big dog. Usually releases this time of year. The big dog is a $250 entry contest. 39 entry max, so 10K to max. You know, don't think many people will max it. Don't even know if I will. It is, the advance rates are 2 out of 12, 2 out of 10 for the quarterfinals, 2 out of 11 for the semifinals. And then if you make the finals, it's an 8-person group. And I have not been shy saying that I'm not a huge fan of these high stakes contests that have really big final groups. I think it can create a bad user experience if, you know, if this final group was 100 people like the big dog was last year. What happens if I show up with 10 finals teams? That doesn't feel great for those who did 1 or 2 entries in a high stakes contest like this. So I think if you were debating putting a high stakes entry, not financial advice, of course, I think this is a good contest to quote unquote shot take where, you know, you do 1 entry, you do 2 entry. If you make the finals, of course, it's hard to make the finals. Again, 2 out of 12, 2 out of 10, 2 out of 11. But you only got to beat 8 people if you make the finals. You know, this is not a huge final size. Let's make a pick real quick here. Jalen Waddle got banged up yesterday. I think he's supposed to be fine. Let's get some Waddle in our life. Again, yeah, so only have to beat 8 people. If you take a shot and you get there, you got a chance. There's only 1,300 entries in the whole contest, so not going to be a huge contest. Could overlay, who knows? You know, it is August 10th today, around 30 days into the NFL season starts. The prize pool, if you make the finals, is this. It's the eight entries you're seeing right here. So 100K to first, 5K to 8th. Obviously, pretty steep, but this is standard for tournaments. You got to get first to really realize your equity. 100, 40, 20, 15, 12 and a half, 10, 75, 5. You know, so there's a big difference between first. Like first is clear and away, 100K. And then second, a solid 40. And then really like third through 6, relatively flat. You know, so is there things I would do differently? Maybe, but you know, again, these big prize pool, the big first place number is, you know, basically marketing to get the contest filled, I would imagine. So yeah, I would feel a little bit better if it was like 60K to second. Obviously the talent of making a first and second place team, probably negligible. If you qualify at all, it seems like you make $50. So if you advance out, it seems like you get $300 on your $250. this is probably what you make. So, like some percent of the quarterfinal teams probably get 400 versus 300. Maybe this is semifinal payouts is 700. So almost 3x. Or maybe some combo of this is the semifinals payouts. I'm not really sure. Again, the contest dropped. I jumped in. It filled. We're going live. We don't have a YouTube description. If you missed it, I uploaded a high stakes FFPC draft that Davis, Kyle, and I did last night at 6 p.m. Eastern today. I will be going with I will be going live with the the back-to-back FFPC main event champions, the Go Bills crew. With a 7-person final, obviously, or an 8-person final, obviously week 17 correlation not as essential, but one misnomer of week 17 correlation is it can raise your floor where you don't need the nuts, right? You just need to beat 7 other teams. So I think the Waddle Andrews is a high ceiling floor combo. What's up, Blessed? Nicholas is coming out of the blue with some Penny info for us. Penny has the most third team carries, but also most touches overall. He's either a lock or on the bubble. I mean, would be shocked if he's not a lock to make the team. What's up, Corey? Bijan go burr. What's up, Garage? What's up, Chris? Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're new to the channel, I am the BBM2 champion, streaming a high stakes best ball draft for you today. Great question, Chris. Anyone you wishing you had higher exposures on? Yeah, I mean, this is the time of year where quote unquote league winner talk comes out. So there are one or two guys who I wish I had a little bit more exposure to. But no one who really sticks out to me too much. As far as where you can take Bijan in drafts, he's such a unicorn in the sense that this is a generational running back prospect. This is a year where there are not a lot of comfy clicks in running back right now, right? CMC pretty comfy, Bijan comfy. I don't think Eckler's as comfy as years past with the new offense. We're going to lock in Christian Watson. I like his ability to provide some huge spike weeks. Love his week 17 matchup against the Vikings. So yeah, I mean, Saquon and Chubb, comfy-ish, but there's age questions with some of these guys. They're getting close to that age cliff. There are holdout worries with Jacobs and JT and Dobbins. There's concerns with Najee. Is Jaylen Warren going to take more out of the pie? Derrick Henry is very old now. Ramondre, there's some questions about them adding, someone who could take some work from him. Joe Mixon. I mean, if you guys haven't read the legal things with Joe Mixon, most think he's still going to play, but I mean, I don't know. That's some wild stuff in that alleged civil suit. Has 2 separate law issues, allegedly, or just factually. Gibbs is young, so I'm comfortable with him. ETN, I want exposure to because I think he has the ability to be league winner, but it's not going to be shocking if Tank Bigsby takes some third down work from him and goal line work, which would really eat into his ability to smash. So yeah, I don't think it's insane that Bijan could literally be the RB1 in fantasy this year. He's behind a team that's definitely going to want to establish it. He's got the talent. He has got no age concerns. The Falcons have a really good O-line. So I would even consider some Bijan at the top of the draft just to get unique. Don't need to do that in a contest like this where there's not that many entrance, but in the really large field stuff, I would think about it. You troll me said the testosterone levels out of the 9-hole is off the charts with the Eckler, Saquon, Brees, Najee team. Are Pollard and Chubb comfy? Pollard is to me. I would say Chubb's a little old. I'm very comfy with Pollard personally, but I can understand where you say that. I mean, I've been a Hawkinson guy this whole time. If they're going to make me double alpha them, I'm going to do it. Got that Watson-Hawkinson stack for week 17. I mean, if Jordan Addison wasn't a Viking, Hawkinson probably goes right next to Andrews. In fact, I think he did in the pre-draft contest. Some people have talent concerns. I mean, for me, I just keep it simple. It's like Cousins targets tight ends. He's probably actually going to score pretty similar to a lot of these wide receivers in a healthy season. He hit the ground running with like 8 targets a game. He showed 2 huge spike weeks last year. Yes, one of them was on the Lions. It's a team that's just going to pass the ball a lot and has an awful defense, so they're going to need to throw. We know their quarterback's going to pass for around 4,500 plus yards on a healthy year, and probably has contingent upside if a Jefferson injury goes down / is like hedging off of a Jefferson team. Thanks, Kevin. Looking handsome today. We had the mustache gang for the high stakes draft last night. That's under my recorded video section. Chris saying he wishes he had more Lamar. I feel like it's somewhat likely he breaks fantasy again in his career. I agree with you. He could totally just absolutely be quarterback 1 by a solid margin, but it's kind of hard at his cost to break fantasy, right? Like when he broke it, he was cheap. So even in the Lamar smashes where he's like hits a couple 40-point games, it's hard to distance guys like Allen, Hurts, Fields, Herbert, Burrow, Mahomes in healthy seasons, you know? But there will be weeks, I would assume, where he breaks it. Bijan, the 101 in 2024. Do not think that's crazy, Cal. Daniel saying $250 is only high stakes for his plebs. I mean, I don't know, man. I think really depends how you think about it. I think you can think about best ball entrant money in a... Let's focus in real quick. I think with me having Andrews, I'm not going to go Dobbins. I have 0 questions about Dameon Pierce. There is, like, I mean, Singletary could eat a little bit more work, but I like just kind of drafting both. It's a team that's stated they want to be a run-first team. Their division should allow them to do that. I think him and White are similar, but I'm more confident that the Texans' offense won't suck. Their offensive line, I think, is a lot better than the Bucs. Not really sure what moves the Bucs made on O-line. I'm pretty sure they sent Shaq Mason to the Texans, which is like, why are you doing that when you need O-line help? My mic is hella loud. Thank you for telling me that, Matt. There's a button on the mic. How does it sound now? I just clicked the button. Is this better? I moved it further away too. Michael saying Lamar has broke my season 3 years straight. I hear you, man. Oh, sounds better. Thank you. Was it the distance or the button? Because I know that button's supposed to do different things. So yeah, I don't know how many of these I'll get in. Definitely a solid amount. Don't know if I'll get all 39. Don't have any water, so. Do I splash around in the Chihuahuas? Usually no, because I'm a man of the people and I want there to be other best ball champions, so don't need to use up my luck and skill in the $4 ones. I want other people to emerge. All right, I think this is just let's get Dotson. Second-year wide receiver. Son ran touchdowns. Sets up a late stack if needed. If Stroud balls tonight, the Texans could get some hype in these draft rooms. I really agree with you, Chris. I mean, I think people are not understanding what going from Davis Mills to CJ Stroud can do. We are on the road to 3,000 subscribers, so help me out if you are not subscribed. Liking the video, commenting, all that helps. And let me know in the comments what you think of this structure. Would you rather do 10 Best Ball Mania 4s where you can win $3 million, but, your chance of winning is very low, or one big dog? Terrence saying Dotson and McLaurin seem like a bad bet for one. I'm not sure how Howell is secure in his role with a coach on the way out. I hear you there, Terrence, but I think one lesson from past year's drafts is think of Amari Cooper. Think of guys like this who we know are talented and we question their quarterback play and how cheap they are. So that with Dotson plus the cliff at wide receiver. Where's the Tyreek drafter? He has Trevor. He might go Tua. I don't think it's a big deal if I lose Tua. But there's not really anyone else I'm fist pumping to grab either. Actually, let's get a Sky share. This is literally one of my first shares of Skies. I kind of like taking them in a high stakes draft as a hedge against my portfolio. Could be the wide receiver 1 in Kansas City. I don't take a lot of Kelsey either. Just, if the 34-year-old dude beats me, so be it. Obviously I have some, but so I kind of like getting Sky as a hedge against myself. And I kind of want to be getting more Sky. So yeah, on the Dotson train, it's he's cheap enough. Terry, I understand where personally, I do draft Terry, but I'm not taking him over guys of Christian Watson and Big Mike. So in years past, I'm a big fader of guy when everyone was drafting DJ Moore and Kyle Pitts last year, I was not, because I had legit passing volume concerns, and that proved to be right. And now the market does and doesn't reflect that, but at Dotson's price, a 7th round pick, 1st round wide receiver, second year, scored 7 touchdowns last year. That's worth the gamble to me. It's kind of hard for him to overly disappoint. $10 saying on the 10 BBM 4s versus one big dog, he would do one big dog. But if he had 3750, rather do 150 BBMs. Yeah, I think that makes sense. It really depends if you want the fun of sweating a bunch of teams like that. How do you see Chig getting more than Burks and D-Hop? Yeah, I don't draft Chig at all. Like, I mean, maybe a team or share or two, but I don't know. I just like other tight ends. Sean said he likes Burks a lot. Yeah, Burks is a guy I do draft quite a bit. I'm not worried about Burks with Hopkins being there. But I'm also like the Titans passing game, I don't want a huge bag on. I mean, they might have the worst O-line in the league, which is not great. So Tua goes. I mean, fuck it. I'll be the only dude drafting Michael Thomas. It's kind of like hard to find buzz on Michael Thomas. There was like some positive buzz, and now there's just been like no buzz. How do you guys feel about Michael Thomas? There was a stretch where I was like really targeting him just because I thought he might get some positive buzz and might rise. Here, we found a video. I think it looks pretty good in this video. What do you guys think? So Michael Thomas looking ready. I don't think that looks that bad. That's pretty good for him. And I think I think his game fits Carr pretty well. Like, why can't he be the Waller, but better? And I'm really not sure if the gap between him and Olave should be as big as it is. I don't have questions about Olave's talent, but I'm not ready to say Michael Thomas is dead like others. Matthew saying Saints-O has some weird vibes for me, sneaky bad. Yeah, I don't know. I would say it's different. Their schedule is very easy too, where it's like, but just because they have an easy schedule doesn't mean they score a lot of points. Olave's getting buzz, rightfully so, right? Like, ready for week 1, out by week 2. But like, isn't this the same people who were you saying that about CMC last year too? Like, oh, can't take CMC over Jonathan Taylor. Always injured. MT a red zone target if Carr can move the sticks. I agree, man. Olave being the one seems like it's good for Michael Thomas. I agree. Saints have 13 games in domes. Pretty nice. Him being 3 inches taller than Olave's got to help touchdown upside, I'd imagine. We are at pick number 114. The running backs are off the board. I was going to go Daniel, but Kirk with Hawkinson seems fine. It's another benefit of taking a following Hawkinson is like Kirk's price has been weird. He started in the 90s and now he's dropped back to this tier. I feel good about my group of 5 wide receivers. Pretty nice that they all have different buys. And we have 2 anchors at the running back, and we'll fill in some darts. Obviously, done at tight end, just going to take a 0 week 13. Not concerned about that. How am I feeling today? I'm feeling good, Johnny. How are you feeling? Going live at 6 p.m. tonight for high stakes FFPC draft discussion. Wouldn't be surprised if Thomas puts up 85, 1,007. Yeah, I mean, it's like hard for him not to approach those numbers in a healthy season. Same age as Kupp and is shown to be a superstar. Yeah, I mean, he was like good last year too. I mean, like maybe he wasn't good, but he was fantasy good. definitely did not play 13 games. Where can I find these? All right. This is courtesy of Fantasy Pros. So against Atlanta last year, 8 targets, 5 receptions, 2 touchdowns, 9 targets, 6 receptions, 1 touchdown, 5 for 5 for 50, and then got hurt. And I think that was with Jameis at quarterback. So, maybe ran hot on touchdowns, but it's also kind of his game. MT season-long props don't exist. Yeah, books don't usually release really uncertain guys' numbers. I've kind of noticed. You sure Michael Thomas isn't Thielen by another name? I mean, could be fair. It's just with Thielen, he could be the 3, right? Like, could be Chark, Mingo, then Thielen. Where I like Shaheed, and I think there was some positive buzz on Shaheed, but with him missing practice until week 1, and him being kind of more of a deep threat last year. All right, we are at pick number 127. These running backs, I don't really feel like grabbing. None of the quarterbacks really make sense either. Let's do Jamal Williams. I don't take a lot of Jamal. It's kind of nice to have that running back wide receiver mini correlation between MT and Jamal. I don't know how it's going to sort out for the Saints, but in best ball, he could definitely just be their touchdown guy again. Was Thielen ever wide receiver 1 in fantasy? Yeah, I mean, good point. Is it possible to do a draft analysis for me? No, okay, that's not something I do. Like, I get a lot of people sending me drafts asking me to like give them free coaching. That might be like a premium service I offer on my website or something. But in the meantime, just joining my Discord and posting your teams in there. Sometimes I give my viewpoint on them there, at my leisure. And you'll get, of course, opinions from other people in my Discord. I'll post my Discord link in the YouTube description below if you don't have it. Who's my lowest exposed player in the first 2 rounds? Well, it was Jonathan Taylor. I don't even know if we count him anymore. Devontae Adams. I draft the young guys over him. Got real concerns about Jimmy G. Thoughts on Conklin and the tight end situation in Miami? I mean, you realize Conklin is a Jet, right? I don't know. Like, one report I read, Conklin is the second favorite target of Rodgers in camp after Garrett Wilson. So, like, that would be a good sign for him. But there's also this, like, Jeremy Ruckert guy. Yeah, I think Algier. We have Bijan. Yeah. Whatever. I still think Algier could have some weeks. Don't love him when I take Bijan, obviously, but I mean, the dude had 1,000 rushing yards last year. I don't think he's just going to go to dust. Yeah, I don't draft the Miami tight end unless there's like real positive buzz on him. I need a cup of water, guys. I will be right back. Jesus, I almost slipped and falled. I mean, what would you guys have done? I just slip, fall, pass out on the ground, and you're just left wondering as I auto down. Do you call 911 for me? What do you do? God, my toes got jammed. How long have I been playing fantasy? Great question, Nicholas. I think my first fantasy league was in my dad's like work league. I think that was like middle school. And then I think I played in high school. And then I had this so zoomed in for you guys. It's hard for me to see the players. God, my toes, I really jammed them. And then in college, I've been the commissioner of my league every year, or actually starting sophomore year. Ugh, my toes, they hurt. All right, so we're cooking with a 1-4-5-2, relying on the strength of our wide receivers and not a huge quantity. We're lapping the field at tight end in theory. We're going to have to figure out some more quarterbacks. Not really concerned with someone going naked Derek Carr on us. I think we can push him. I do think the Mingo versus Chark is hard. I draft them both. But let's go with the rookie. On a team with Michael Thomas, if he is supposed to slow down, in theory, that should correlate with Mingo picking up. We kind of know what Chark is. He's kind of more of a deep threat, which is a fine pick in best ball, but Mingo could be more. You'd call Underdog first and have the draft thrown out for me? Thanks, Joey. You got my back there. How would you know to call 911, though? You would just wonder, like, I live in the greater Tampa area. I think it tells you that on Twitter. Yeah, guys, tell me when you first started playing fantasy. Johnny saying he first started playing in college. Oh. We got CD nuts in the one hole. Let's check in on our alpha friend here. His wide receivers are Hollywood, Brandon Cooks, Tyler Boyd, and Adam Thielen. Don't mind his first three. What's your guys' thoughts on Kyler? Rumor is he's trying to push for week 1. Oh, did someone actually go naked car? God bless him. Maybe watching the stream wanted a reaction I didn't even notice. Yeah, we need running backs. We need wideouts. Let's get Shaheed. Yeah, I mean, no concerns for week 1. Kind of like combining him for Michael Thomas, where if Michael Thomas is not providing value, Shaheed probably is. What are your thoughts on that main event draft you did with Kyle and Davis? They did you dirty. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they learned their lesson about disagreeing with me on player takes last year. They forced us into CEH last year. They forced us into Albert O over Miles Sanders. I think player takes is a talent of mine. And I'm comfortably doing the most drafts between us, so I kind of know where players are going in other high stakes drafts and the players that are moving up boards. But I really like our first 5 picks. I think we really nailed. Running back, you know, we went Swift over Pierce. You'll just have to watch the whole video to see how it played out. Wasn't thrilled that I checked out the ship chasing draft and Davis is just like hanging in there the whole time. Probably why he's not paying full attention. But I think our team is able to win. I like how it turned out. I don't love any of our running backs individually other than like, you know, Swift and Charbonnet are guys I do draft sometimes and or a lot. And we took a lot of them. So we just kind of, you know, I think that's how you should be approaching these drafts August 9th. Yeah, I think tiers is also a huge strength of mine. Like, I know how I personally think about the tiers and kind of how other 555 drafters have either morphed their opinion from drafting with us or think about the tiers similarly. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. Seems like they just like to disagree sometimes. But, you know, no one's perfect at this. They have viewpoints too. Jordan Love, welcome to the team. Really like anytime I get Christian Watson to take Love in the games where Watson houses 2 touchdowns. Love is going to give you some weeks. They're going to be on my channel at 6 o'clock to talk about their team. They got some players I liked, obviously, because we pushed them. But yeah, I mean, I'm wrong on players every year. You know, everyone is. So don't mind getting different players. I mean, I do draft to try to make money. Kind of hard to say how I'm going to land these last 3 picks. Could stop at these 7 wideouts. Gonna add some running backs. No tight ends. Probably. I mean, you know, if I feel like throwing on Musgrave, that's fine. And probably want a quarterback. Couple options for me there. Who am I wrong about this year? Hard to say, OG1. Hard to say until the season started, right? And also, you know, there's still we've not seen a lot of these teams play football yet. We get some training camp info, but that's not even that high. And so I adjust my priors if evidence comes out that I should, right? Like if I'm fading a guy and he's lighting up camp, because again, we should just remember that we have very bad. All right, so no reason to risk not getting Bryce Young. I'll always gamble on the rookie quarterbacks, especially the first overall pick. Stacks with Mingo. Don't, boom. Very happy with that quarterback room. But yeah, I mean, what I was going to say is we don't have a lot of info. Slayton is the one guy I would have taken about like players playing through injury. So a guy can look bad, and I just think that the dude is dusted. But maybe he was like pushing through an injury. So like I'll give the example Courtland Sutton. I'm pretty down on the Broncos and Courtland Sutton, but I could just be wrong that Russ is better and or reportedly Sutton has more explosion this camp. Now, I do draft some Sutton. He's not like on my never draft list because, again, wide receiver kind of falls off a cliff soon after this, in my opinion. But that's an example of like me trusting my eyes and like the past couple of years, but I don't have the full context of the situation. Why am I drafting so much Swift? I wouldn't say I'm drafting so much Swift. I think you'd be foolish not to draft some Swift with just the talent profile he has and on the offense he has and the contingent upside and like being certain on anything in that running back room at this point, I think is a little fool's gold. So like, yeah, I draft the most Rashad Penny of the group. Draft plenty of Gainwell. I draft some Swift. I draft the least amount of Swift of the three because he's the most expensive. And it won't be surprising if Gainwell is the running back one for Philadelphia, right? Like, but Swift historically a guy I've wanted to bet on. Now he lands with one of the best O-lines in the league. Let's go. Musgrave goes. We want Kyron Williams. We just need some running back darts. Think he's going to give you some points this year. I'm going to take the 0 at the tight end. I don't care. So we have 2 anchors, but not much else at running back. We're going to get weird with this last pick. $125 of you tuning into this impromptu stream. No thumbnail, no YouTube description, no notice. So shout out to everyone. Hit the bell, subscribe, like. we'll have more content coming out here. I'm in the works of booking a special guest too. And I also have some other exciting things that are going to come down the pipeline. But got to keep that secret for now. All right. It's time. Chris Evans, welcome back. Do I know if Chris Evans is going to see the field this year? No, I do not. Do I think Chase Brown should be drafted at 100% and Chris Evans at 0%? Again, no, I do not. Reportedly, I believe Evans is running ahead of Brown in camp. You know, athletic dude himself. Travion Williams, I believe, was running ahead of both of them. Could be back to practice again too. So maybe I understand if people want to stay away and just don't want to play whack-a-mole with 3 dudes. But I mean, I don't know. Like Joe Mixon could not play this year. That is possible. Captain America. That's right, Chris. We get a little different. Travion. We went with Chris, guys. We went with Chris this one. We do some Travion too. Probably have the only share of Chris Evans in the big dog unless there becomes depth chart clarity. Appreciate you, Johnny. Man, you deserve $125,000. Eventually, ML. We'll be the face of this industry eventually. Is Kyron being drafted in most drafts now? Yeah, I mean, I went on a couple pods and touted him. Maybe I'm not alone, but seems to be moving that way. So that finishes us up at a 3-6-7-2. Cousins, Love, Young. You know, need Cousins to ball out and Love and Young to give me something. Bijan as the anchor. Pierce, Jamal, Algier, Kyron, Chris. Not the most comfortable group of running backs. Obviously need Bijan in the lineup most weeks. If not him, at least Algier. Need Damian Pierce to have a good season. Need Jamal to vulture a bunch of touchdowns. Kyron and Chris to give, just like hopefully be that James White type guy, third down back. Waddle, Watson, Dotson, Sky, Michael Thomas, Mingo, Shaheed. A little thin, only going 7 wide receivers without any, you know, of the first round guys. But this group can definitely get it done. Kind of nice that their buys are spread. And then hopefully got, if not the tight end 1 and 2, at least the tight end 2 and 3 on the season who ball out. They eat a 0 week 13, but I score enough points that it does not matter. And we take down the $100,000 first place prize. So that's what we got today. If anyone's not up and running on Underdog, you can use promo code Cheslium for a $100 deposit match. Have a great day, guys. Going to be back tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern with the Go Bills guys to talk main event season. Peace.